Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I am here today with 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 11, Eat, Lie, and Play. That sounds like the motto of some people that I know, but that's a whole nother story. If I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a C minus. Nothing really happened that, wowed me in this episode. Statler was being Debbie Downer. Shekinah forgave Sarper. We'll get into that in a second. Tata cried and whined. That's nothing new. The only thing that wowed me in this episode was Sean because he's kind of fucking hot. But we'll get into that in a second. So let's hop right into this recap. So we have Sean and Joanne. Okay. Joanne went over to Ireland with her boys who have no idea that she's married to this guy for 2 years. I mean, his daughter Bella has no idea that they're dating. So they all arrive at the house that he rented because he lives with his mom. And I said, "Oh, there we go. That's what's wrong with him because he's hot. He seems somewhat sane. He can cook, as I'm going to get into in a second. He's funny as fuck. Did I mention he was hot? So is he broke? Is that what's wrong with him? We shall find out, shall we? So in this episode, he's cooking a traditional Irish breakfast for everyone, which is consisting of sausage, eggs, bacon, pudding, which is not really pudding, is pork, and fried sourdough bread. All of that sounds really, really fucking yummy to me. So after breakfast, he's going to spend some quality time with the boys to get to know them before, in his words, he's like, "Hey there, I'm your big papa." One thing I gotta admit about this couple, they're funny as fuck. Okay. So he takes the boys out. They play soccer. It was a cute bonding moment. He sits down. He talks to the older son. The older son, is like, "It's good to finally meet you after 3 years. My mom doesn't tell me too much about her relationship with you, but, it's kind of like my mom is looking at me to give my approval about this whole thing. I just want my mom to be happy." And Sean is like, "And I just want your mom to be happy." So he says that he just is very, very anxious to get this whole thing over with of telling the kids that he's with their mother and that they're married and everything, because he feels like that he's lying to them. Okay, so as we see in the preview for next week, Joanne breaks the news. So, I mean, I just think this whole thing is kind of crazy. Sean's daughter didn't even know that they're dating. And now they're going to just say, "Oh, yeah, Bella, by the way, honey, I'm your new stepmommy." Like, okay. Sean had to sleep on the couch their first night in the country house because Bella doesn't know they're dating. And now they're going to tell her they're married. Like, I don't know. So, like I said, they're a cute couple. They're posting on the gram, so they're a cute couple. And did I mention he was hot? So, anyway, now Tata and James. They grate my last fucking nerve. I'm sorry, but they do. Okay, so in this episode, we start off with James getting a um Indonesian traditional coin massage, which looked like torture to me. But I have been going to acupuncture lately, and my acupuncturist does cupping on me. So I guess it's like pretty much in the same category as cupping, except a coin is used to scrape the toxins and all the bad stuff off of you. I don't know, but it didn't look very pleasurable. James looked like he was in fucking pain, but he wasn't feeling good. And Tata says, this is the best way to help him feel better. Okay. So next scene, they're on the beach doing what James loves the most. Okay. Oh no, before the beach scene, Tata meets up with her sister. Okay. And she's telling her sister that she's really upset because she's been keeping inside of her that her friend Adele told her before she left to Indonesia, that James has no intention on having kids. But they haven't had this conversation. Okay, so she's telling her sister that she hasn't talked to him about it yet. Okay, and her sister's like, well, you need to talk to him about it. You need to figure out what's going on. So she, starts getting all teary eyed. She's like, I really want to be a mom. Her sister's like, you would be a great mom, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now James and Tata are on the beach. He has his metal detector. He misses doing this back in the States. Maybe he'll find a ring, a necklace, something. He finds a nail. Okay. So, anyway, Tata tells him, I want to have a conversation with you about having a baby. And she immediately starts crying and whining. First of all, why did you tell Adele and you didn't tell me? And James is like, well, I might have mentioned it to her in passing, but it wasn't her place to tell you. Why don't you want to have a baby, James? I want to have a baby. And James is like, well, we just moved back to Indonesia. We barely have our feet under us, and not for nothing. This isn't a great world. It's not a great time to bring a baby into this world. So Tata, who said, when she was talking to her sister, that she was going to stay calm because she knows that her anger gets the best of her when she's upset. Okay. Instead, she pours on the whining and the tears. But why can't we have a baby, James? It will break my heart. It will break my family's heart. It will break the world's heart if we don't have a baby, James. And don't you know having a baby will make the relationship stronger? Eh. No, sorry, Tata. Here, you are totally wrong. Because if your relationship is on the rocky ground and you have a baby, no, that baby is not going to be the glue in the relationship. Okay, so sorry to tell you, girl, eh, you got it wrong. So she tries to cry and whine her way into convincing James into having a baby. And basically, on this episode, it didn't work because Tata still didn't get her answer whether she was having a baby or not. And James is still, standing firm on this is not a good time to bring a baby into the world. So now we move on to Shekinah and Sarper. Okay. These two idiots. That's all I have to say. So we know last week Shekinah was in her hotel room because, they had a violent incident where Sarper was trying to grab Shekinah's phone out of her hand and pulled out one of her hair extensions. She says he didn't mean to pull out the hair extension, but the trying to snatch the phone out of my hand is absolutely unacceptable. So she goes to meet with him, okay, because she loves him so much. And even though, she's like done, she's not going to give it up until she goes and talks to him one more time. So she goes to meet with him. And Sarper is looking like a fucking sad puppy that has gotten scolded by his owner one too many times. In typical narcissistic fashion, in my opinion, he's like, I've been so sad. I haven't been able to sleep. I started taking sleeping pills to sleep. I have no meaning without you, Shekinah. It is all I. So Shekinah's finally like, listen, I'm going to tell you a fucking story and you're going to listen to me. My ex, and immediately Sarper's like because Sarper doesn't want to hear that she had any type of past. Okay. Besides that, he slept with 25 women. He has um, a whole case full of bottles that he associates with a whole bunch of women. But, she kind of wants to tell him a story about her abusive ex to maybe put things in perspective for him. And he's immediately. So anyway, she kind of tells him the story, and as she's telling him the story, you could see that he feels more and more like shit. And he's like, I have some even more regret now, hearing the trauma that Shekinah went through. And I'm an asshole. I never let Shekinah tell me about this because I never want to hear about her exes. And Shekinah's like, listen, unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional tolerance. Just because I love you, I will walk away from this full year's relationship, Sarper. I will grab Adonis and walk away. And Sarper's like a sad puppy. So she's like, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to give you a second chance, but you need to go to therapy. And Sarper's like, will you go with me? And she's like, I'll go with you, every once in a while, but you need this therapy mostly on your own. So as you can see, Shekinah forgave Sarper. They are happy in love and probably going to be on the next season of 90 Day Fiancé. Just saying. So moving on to these two. Okay, so last week, Statler was making Dempsey feel like shit, telling her, I don't trust you. How do I know that you're not going to take off with the van while I'm, sitting on the toilet somewhere pooping? And the look on Dempsey's face, and you could just see that she was hurt. She was hurt that, the woman that she loves, the woman that she's going on this travel adventure with, doesn't trust her. Doesn't trust her not to take off with the van while Statler is taking a shit somewhere. Okay? So Statler's like, I really didn't mean it like that. It's just a voice in the back of my head always nagging. So Dempsey decides, I have this wonderful surprise for her. We're going to go be beekeepers for the day. Knowing how much Statler loves bees, she set up this whole experience for her. And Statler's like, wow, this is really cool. She shares on her stories. Let me just blow this up for you guys on how brave the cameramen are, for getting right up close and personal. Okay. So she really enjoyed this whole beekeeping experience. But yeah, and then they pulled over on a what I consider a residential street, to do a little boom boom in the van. So now the next day, they're heading to the ferry to France. Now, Statler, she wasn't looking forward to this moment to begin with. And now she's totally freaking the fuck out. While Dempsey, on the other hand, is all like, yay, we're going on a boat. We're going on a boat. We're going on a boat. Yay, we're going on a boat. And then Statler's like, could you shut the fuck up, please? Like, I'm having anxiety. I don't like being on boats. I don't like vomiting. And the worst part of it is vomiting on a boat. That is like the worst thing to Statler. Okay. So her worst fear is not being able to get off the boat. She once tried to go on a lesbian boat party. That shit was a shit show. Okay. She spent the whole time sitting on a bucket, shitting her pants. So now she's on this boat, which, first of all, she thought it was only going to be a 30-minute ferry ride. And Dempsey's like, no, honey, it's 100 minutes, which once again, to me, proves that Statler doesn't listen to a fucking word that Dempsey says. Then she gets on this ferry and she's just freaking the fuck out. And I admit, Dempsey was no help. She kept asking her, are you okay? 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 And talking to her constantly. And Statler was like, listen, I just need silence. But Statler was being a bitch. Okay. She was being a total bitch. Even when Dempsey was trying to like help her and get to the root of what was going on, she was like, I have to keep looking at the horizon so I don't get seasick. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I understand she has her issues, but she's a Debbie fucking Downer. And Dempsey is absolutely correct when she said in her confessional that she feels like whenever she's excited about something, she has to push it to the side to deal with Statler's fears. Okay, and Statler has tons of fucking fears. So if you were so scared of boats and gosh knows what else, why are you going on this adventure with Dempsey? I'm just asking because if you have such high anxiety, what made you decide to sit on that anxiety for a period of time and make this decision that, okay, I'm going to do the van life. That's it. So she gets on my nerves, in case you guys haven't noticed. Okay. So she posted to her story about, how nervous she was about getting on the ferry, and whenever she has a panic attack, she has friends that are able to talk her through it. And if you have a panic attack at home, you could take a cold shower. That'll help it. While Dempsey, on the other hand, says, but the most important thing is that you know yourself. Hence, why I don't need to validate myself to anyone or give out my versions of stories and events, because I know myself. And that is what matters the most, loving who you are. Because while Statler has been very, very vocal about her storyline, Dempsey, TLC, Matt Sharp, the 90-day house thing that they did for the tell-all for Happily Ever After, Pillow Talk, Armando, David, I mean, you name it. She has been vocal AF, while Dempsey has been quiet. Dempsey's living her best life, showing her scenery pictures, her selfies, not responding to any of the dirt that Statler may or may not throw her way. So, hey, I got to give it to her. So, before I close out this recap for The Other Way, are you guys watching the new season of B90? If you aren't, I think you should. Now, I know we may be getting burnt out with all of this 90-day stuff, but this is a whole new cast, okay? And we have Renee and Chidi, okay? Renee is a chicken farmer, and Chidi is a blind Nigerian. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I just want to say that this is today's Renee's raging on the interwebs. Okay, Renee has been raging since she debuted last week on episode 1. I've covered it in my recap last night. I did a video, Renee rages. Well, this is just a sample of her rage for today. This season is going to be a very interesting one on and off screen. So I just want to say thank you very much, you guys, for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button. Share my video with a friend or 10. And please consider joining my membership. There should be a join button on my banner and a link in my description box. Thank you so much for watching me. Bye, everybody. See you next week.